Got it.
All right. Hello, friends. It's your host, Ryan, and it's great to have you with us. I am here with one of my co-hosts who's definitely not a clone. It's Megastar Mark.
Hey, everybody, it's Megastar Mark, and let's go Sabres.
All right. I forgot about that.
Let's go Sabres.
I'm also here with my other co-host who's thrilled. Tom Brady's not his quarterback right now. It's going like 17.
Hooray. That's great. I was really excited about another year of him getting fucking pummeled. Just those old creaky bones.
Old creak bone.
I'm so upset because I thought your theory of him going to Las Vegas was the greatest theory I've ever heard.
I believe, I truly thought that was just going to happen.
Yep. All those dots were connected. He was going to be performing next to Celine, and no, we get
Cirque du Soleil, Brady,
taken
Celine
from us.
Yeah, we got that. Unfortunately, we got that taken away from us. That's not cool.
Son of a bitch.
But don't worry, we'll never forget his last season. We'll never forget your last season. Thank you very much, Tom, for coming back.
It was his best season as far as I'm concerned.
Ruining your life.
Every second of it.
For this piece of crap year.
Right.
We played on NFL Network in like 20 years, like those top 10 lists, like quarterbacks who completely flopped when they left teams.
I had a coworker today who couldn't give two shits about football. And even she was like, wait a minute, you're telling me he gave up all that shit and then didn't play again?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
He
sure did.
Watching him get peeled off the field in his last game.
Amazing.
It's everything. I mean, it doesn't make up for the 20 years of hell, but man, it was a nice
also for me. Like, it wasn't his last play, but one of his last plays ever was that stupid slide tackle.
Yeah, right.
Like
that he got
him being a
for.
complete jerk.
Right.
In his like last play ever.
What a
fantastic.
What a
worth it.
Period at the end of that sentence right there. That is
so just for Tom Brady retired today. I don't know if we actually like said that. We're just
I don't think we did.
No.
We're just so into his. He's gone.
We're just so fucking.
Oh, did he? That's weird. I was just hating on him.
Is he gone? Is he truly gone?
Yeah, he's truly gone.
Oh, he's gone. Yeah, I heard $375 million.
Yep,
is what Fox is paying him.
That's
which upsets me on two levels. One,
what?
Money isn't real. Fuck capitalism. Two, that is not money well spent because regardless of my hatred of Tom Brady, like I'm not saying this to be mean because I'm jaded after all these years. The man has the charisma of a cardboard box. This is actually a bad deal.
It's a bad investment.
Not talented on the mic. He's unlikable by literally everybody.
And they finally have. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you guys had me listen to his podcast last episode where he went off on that dude.
Yeah.
And I listened to it, and it was done like segments on YouTube, and I clicked on the first one, and it wasn't that segment, but I hung around for like a minute. He's boring as hell. Like I can't imagine him discussing anything on the air that would make me want to like tune in and listen. It was just, I think what pisses me off the most is he's replacing Greg Olsen, who is good at that job.
He's replacing Greg Olsen?
Yeah, he's going to be the number one play-by-play or number one, color guy.
Oh my God, they're putting him in a booth?
Yeah, with
oh no, yeah, that's why it's worse.
Yeah.
He's not in.
I thought he was just going to be on the panel of idiots.
No. He has a full gig where he's on every game.
Tried out for this?
No chance.
It doesn't matter.
I would be so upset if I was.
This kind of reminds.
He's gonna go to CBS, and he's gonna be the next fucking Pat Summerall, and their Fox is gonna have to trade the rights to Bart Simpson for in 25 years.
Maybe they can get Family Matters from CBS, right? Doesn't CBS ultimately Family Matters ultimately ended on CBS?
Yeah.
Maybe they can get that back.
Trade him for Urkel.
That last
Get Urkel
season.
back. Get Urkel back. All right. So Brady's gone, but is he really gone?
Yeah.
You think he's really gone? All right.
I think too much money. That's too much money.
His video was really weird, right? Or was it just
everything he does is weird?
He's like
he's like an alien trying to figure out how to be a human. It's just everything about him is just stilted and awkward and
it felt very awkward and forced. But he's gone.
We got one Poochie gone.
We got one Poochie gone, but not really.
No, we're still going to have to be talking about fucking Poochie for the next 15 years.
Yeah.
So
Right, we're just gonna be talking about how terrible he is.
right, exactly. But he don't care. That's
Yeah. Unless he pulls a Montana. Remember Montana retired? He went on NBC and he was absolutely atrocious. He was so bad that
That's
they
what's going to happen.
they kicked him off after a year.
he
Maybe
won't care.
that
Like I said,
happened.
he's going to get paid, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. All right, let's get into these games and then we'll get into the coaches in our segments. Let's start with ref ball. Chiefs survive against the Bengals in a game that was like should have been awesome, but almost
Yeah.
at every turn was almost ruined by the refs.
Yeah.
I don't think it ultimately, maybe you guys have a different opinion. I don't think it ultimately ruined the game for the Bengals. I don't think it ultimately cost them, the refs being incompetent, because every time they were, the Bengals seemed to be able to overcome those mistakes by the refs. And that last play, I think, was a penalty. So I don't think that was the wrong call. But what do you guys think? Do you think the refs cost the Bengals this one?
No, I don't. Wow, this is Mark. You talk. Let me formulate my thoughts.
I think the NFL is incredibly fortunate that one Asai hit Mahomes out of bounds, because that was very blatant, and that was a mistake, and that was a bad mistake, and that basically, for the average fan, sealed the game for the Chiefs. Right, and that was, nobody can argue that was dumb. To me, that was pretty obvious.
I'm going to argue against it.
You really don't? I mean,
yeah,
wow,
I am.
really?
See, I don't.
So, all right, I'm not going to say. I think he had to be better than he did than that, but I've watched the play of a lot now, and you do have to be smart. So I'm going to give him some dumb points. I'm not going to totally put this on the refs or whatever. But Mahomes, I could easily see him evading the tackle that was pushing him out and then skirting up the side for a few more yards. Also, I think he was just continuing the play. He tripped. And because of that, his sort of momentum really took him forward. And then he really collided with Mahomes. So I do think it was a penalty. However, I think if he hadn't tripped, he probably would have touched Mahomes, but I don't think he would have pushed him.
Fair enough.
To me, it just looked like the natural conclusion of that play, at which point he tripped and then went fucking careening.
I think
he was just finishing the play.
I hear you.
Okay.
I mean, I hear you. I think also you touched on it a little bit, Greg, is how, because it was Mahomes, there's always the potential that he could bust it off and turn into a crazy play.
I'm not saying he would have gotten much more, but I could see him getting 4 to 8 more yards just because they stopped pursuing.
Right. If that was Aaron Rodgers lumbering toward the sideline, I think as a defender, you play that a little bit differently than Asai did. To me, I think what I'm saying is, like, when the NFL has a clear out where they can say, like, well, I mean, most people will tell you that was a penalty. I think that saved them, but there did seem to be a lot of ticky-tack shit against the Bengals in this game.
Yes,
for sure.
That was the thing. I don't think this game was actually poorly called, but it did seem very one-sided. Like, all those penalties, they were legit. The holdings and the pass interference, those were correct calls. But it just, I mean, the Chiefs looked like they were getting nothing called against them. And every one of them, not every one of them, but a lot of them were like, this is the fucking championship game. Like, you probably just need to let these guys play. It's like in an NBA game when the refs just don't swallow their whistle in the last 2 minutes. It's like, just fucking let them play.
Just kind of ruins it. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you're playing against LeBron, at which point blow the whistle, because I'm tired of hearing about it.
His bullshit. Yeah. Whining. That was funny.
Although his teammate grabbing the camera and showing the ref, all-time move.
That's hilarious. There was a couple missed calls. I think the biggest one to me was the return by Sky Moore, where they didn't call block in the back. That set that up for that run to happen.
Yeah,
we're going to overtime if they call that block in the back the way that they were moving the ball. Zero. There's no way. I mean, once he returned that kick, they were basically in field goal range.
Yep.
Even that push out of bounds kind of helped make
Yeah.
it so, but like they still probably would have made that kick, even if that wasn't a 15-yard penalty, because he was in field goal range already. So what about
The biggest complaint that I think is legitimate, and going towards my point, I suppose, is not necessarily bad calls, just one-sided.
Yeah.
You know, Joe Burrow's getting hammered
He got pushed
3-4
over. They didn't
seconds
call
after he throws the ball, and they just don't
correct.
call it.
Yeah.
So, you
That was
know,
a bad one.
Chiefs, in my opinion, did not look very good.
No,
They
looked
looked
terrible.
like they were in trouble.
Yeah.
Mahomes looks way hurt.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Still fucking what a guy. You know, he's laser beaming it around on one leg.
Right.
Yeah, it's impressive.
But you know, a lot of his ability is to create plays, and if he can't move, that's something.
Yeah.
Watching him come up hobbled on a no contact play worries me.
Yeah.
And, you know, as we'll get there on the converse, the Eagles look like an unstoppable juggernaut.
Yeah.
And yeah, do I think the Chiefs are a better team than the Eagles? Probably. In the perfect world, you know, everyone's healthy, you know, but watching Mahomes in this game would worry me if I was a Chiefs fan. I don't think this is a good squad going into the Super Bowl.
Well, we talked about it in the weeks leading up to the Super Bowl. They did have, you know, their moments for sure, but they also really struggled with some piss poor teams.
Yeah.
And that's alarming. Now, is this a team that just turns it on when they want to turn it on? We've talked about that before too, maybe, but this Eagles team, and like I said, maybe next week we'll talk a little bit more about this and this matchup. Just, I don't know. On paper, it looks like the Eagles are going to roll this team, but we'll get to that. I guess we'll get to that. The one play that bothered me the most with the Orlando Brown holding play, which, I mean, if you're not going to call that was. I mean, he literally almost yanked him down by the jersey. The jersey was almost off the guy, and no call, right in front of a ref. I mean, it's that type of stuff bothers me. Like if you called if you didn't let the Bengals call it, but the Bengals got penalties on them for a lot less in that game for holding than what I just saw there. So ticky tack. I don't know. I think Mahomes will probably look better because he does have 2 weeks to recover. It is a high ankle sprain, which typically takes 4 weeks. I still think, I mean, it's impossible for him to, you know, be more hobbled going into this game than he was, you know, last weekend. So
yeah, he definitely tweaked it because the first couple drives he looked pretty good.
Yep.
And then I don't know if he got rolled up or he stepped funny and then he was off the rest of the game. So big red flag on their offense is the no Tyreek Hill thing. Like he is not there to bail them out and he's not a good guy. And we get all that, but like they do not have anybody that can do what he does. And everything's on Mahomes. Everything is on him to make it happen. And these guys aren't getting open. I mean,
and they're injured. His
Right.
receiving core is decimated.
Yeah, everybody's hurt now. So I mean, I'm guessing the Chiefs probably deserve to win this one. You know, it was weird, but I don't like these feelings. Like when the Saints played, who did the Saints have that terrible game against where they had the awful call and they missed the Super Bowl? It was like the pass interference call. Was that the Rams?
Yeah.
I think it was the Rams.
Nicole Roby. Yeah.
I hate that feeling of watching a game and having refs decide who's going to the Super Bowl. Like the tuck rule, I hate that game. That game bothers me, not just because it's Brady, but just because like the refs decided that game.
Yeah,
like
I wouldn't say that was as blatant as this game. You know, like that tuck roll still.
That was one call,
right?
Yeah, one bad call.
This just felt bad.
Yeah.
And you know, like it's not. The refs have to call the game the way they see it. So, you know, you can't be like, well, I think it'll be really fun if we just hold the whistle on this one. But at the end of the day, like it was just a game that was no fun to watch at all.
Yeah, right.
Anytime something cool started to happen, the refs would come in and give the Chiefs 3 third downs.
What? That was the
do-over.
weirdest.
Yeah.
The do-over that they just didn't explain.
Yeah.
Like that entire crew needs to be fired, right? Like after that debacle.
Wasn't good.
And that's like one thing I don't like is in the playoffs, the NFL doesn't, in the regular season, you have your crew. You're a ref and you have your 6, 7, 8 people who work with you, right? And when they get to the playoffs, they don't do those crews anymore. It's like a combination of other refs from the other who they're in their own crew and they're just like slammed together. I think that's also a reason that these penalties are being called and it's so inconsistent is because you don't have that. It's like being with a team. After a while, you just kind of learn how you operate and what the other guy's thinking, and they didn't have it.
They didn't have it. All right, let's move on to Purdy endgame. The Eagles injure Brock Purdy, 9-time future Super Bowl champ and MVP.
It's just going to start next year. That's all. It's just gonna, it's all right.
Was it like the fourth pass of the game?
Yeah,
something like that.
He
Fourth
tore his UCL.
Tore his UCL. Could not throw the ball, so they had to bring in our boy Josh Johnson.
Right?
Who's been on 15 teams in 13 years.
NFL record holder.
Yes, that's right.
He got to play in this game, and then he got knocked out via concussion. And then Brock Purdy came back in.
Yeah.
Even though he couldn't throw.
I got to shoehorn this in here because we've talked about it so much on this podcast. Tua just cleared concussion protocol today.
Ooh.
Yikes.
How long ago was that game that he played in? 6, 7 weeks?
Early December, maybe?
This man's got to retire, right? It took you that long to clear concussion protocol, which means like you're not seeing straight. You're still having symptoms. I mean,
that's scary.
Dude's got to retire. Anyway,
scary.
Sorry. I read that this morning. I was astounded. I completely forgot about it, that he was still in protocol.
Christian McCaffrey had to play quarterback in this.
Yeah. This was sad. This was, honestly, even if Purdy played, I don't think they would have had a shot.
It's hard to tell, right? It's hard to tell what chances they had or didn't have because the guy couldn't throw. They couldn't throw the ball. They were just stacking the box. They had 10 guys in the box.
Right. And the Eagles are already strong on that D line, and they were just decimating them.
Yeah, because they had no reason to stop. Just rush every time.
I don't think they would have had a shot. I think maybe they would have been a little bit closer, but I still think they would have lost by 2 touchdowns. The Eagles just look amazing.
They were great.
Yep.
Is this the easiest playoffs of all time?
Well, I mean, you don't pick who you play. It's just it is what it is. Sometimes you're going to be lucky, and at the end of the day, when you had that Super Bowl trophy, no one's going to remember. No one's going to care. The only thing they remember is, did you win it?
Right.
And if the Eagles win it, that's all that matters.
They look great. They look way better than the Chiefs right now.
Way
better on another level.
Yep.
The Chiefs are hurt. They are just they're there because
they're just uninspiring. They're just there's nothing about, and I like Mahomes, and I like Andy Reid, and I like Kelsey, and I like, there's players there that I do dig, but I just can't get into this team. I can't get over the fact that I feel like, like I said, the Bengals,
you play this better team,
right? You play this 100 times, and maybe it's probably split a good amount of it, but it's just I can't shake this team that they're not. I still can't get over the fact that the Chiefs are there. It's just,
it's tough. It's tough. We're gonna see. It's gonna be an experiment here because we're gonna see if a team that hasn't really played for a while, like Hurts was out, they weren't really trying. And they've coasted through these 2 games. Like, can they gear up to play a better team like the Chiefs? Or are they just going to be like, the Chiefs have been through hell, so they're going to be ready to be in a close game? Like, that's the question. I think
at this point, when you get to this level, attrition is a thing. And I think the Chiefs are just put through the ringer physically. They just look tired. I think like I said, we'll talk about it on next week's show, but I have very strong feelings that the Eagles are going to roll this game. And for the longest time, I was beating the drum that the Eagles were playing soft schedules. And statistically they did, but when they got to the point where it matters, they weren't just beating teams; they were rolling teams. So I was wrong on that one.
They rolled that Giant team, and they rolled this injured 49er team.
Right. Still.
But they're there. It's an Andy Reid Bowl, which the NFL loves. The NFL loves the idea
At least it's a story. My God.
The Kelseys versus each other.
Yeah, right.
Do you care about that at all?
No, not
Kelsey
even.
versus Kelsey.
I can't. I don't hate either team, so I don't care who wins the Super Bowl.
Right.
Which is a lot better than what it used to be, which was just whoever is against Brady. That's all I cared about is just somebody beat this man.
Right.
So I at least will be more relaxed watching it, I guess.
Easy breezy Super Bowl,
yeah,
baby.
Right.
Easy breezy.
Just enjoy my wings, enjoy my pizza.
No stress.
No stress. No. Let's talk about the Bengals real quick. So I think they're in a little bit of trouble for next season because everyone was talking about, even on the broadcast, they were talking about this window because Burrow's not on a rookie contract. Chase isn't on a rookie contract.
Yeah, they're both going to have to get paid.
And it's this year. So both of them are now eligible to get contracts, and there's zero chance. Maybe you get away with Chase waiting a year before he asks for a new contract. Probably not, but maybe.
Yeah, tough.
No way Burrow doesn't ask for a contract now, as he should. And he should be the highest paid quarterback in the league. I would say over Mahomes.
Wow.
Because he's younger, what he's done compared to pre-Burrow and post-Burrow is so night and day.
Yeah.
They're going to have to pay him. Not only that, you have T. Higgins. He's up for, free agency this year. You have Jesse Bates. These are captains. And there's not enough money to go around on that team.
No,
I think
both of them are probably going to go.
They're probably going to go.
Yes.
So this is a team that spent $90 million in the offseason to improve their O-line and improve their secondary. And then they got out a round earlier than they were before that. Yeah. So that's a little alarming to me. Is trying to keep this team together and kind of stay in the fight there is going to be a little bit difficult because you got to pay Burrow. You can't. It's loon. And what also makes me nervous is this is the Bengals. I'm hoping things have changed because I remember Carson Palmer, and I remember them not paying him, and I remember them not paying the receivers Carl Pickens and Darnay Scott in the 90s. And
I mean, Boomer Esiason left.
Right.
He went to the Jets.
Right. I'm hoping things have changed. It is the same family running it, but I'm hoping things have changed because I want Burrow to stay there. I love watching him play.
I mean, it would be a bad business move not to pay Joe Burrow.
And I think they're smart enough because they see what happened with Baltimore and how much of a cluster. You want to wait for a dumpster fire. This offseason with that is going to be hysterically horrible. Like it's going to be I don't see Lamar going back to the Ravens because it got to this point.
Yeah.
I sure wouldn't.
Oh yeah.
All right. I would have virtually no loyalty whatsoever to my team.
Oh yeah.
Especially in today's NFL, it just never works out for you.
Nope.
There's maybe you love your city, and I can understand that. It's like, well, shit, I just love Baltimore. I just don't want to leave my city.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, no one loves Baltimore, but bad example. But so I can understand someone wanting to stay. It's like, oh well, my kids love, all their friends are here.
Yeah.
But to stay for a team, fuck that. Get paid.
And also
get paid.
Let's not ignore the fact the Ravens are the ones at fault here. When Josh Allen signed that contract, they should have went right over to Lamar and said, "Here's $10 million more."
Yeah,
and that should have been it. That should have been it. He would have signed it. You would have moved on. It would have been done a week later. Because you already had your parameters set. He had won an MVP. Allen didn't. There's your extra $10 million. Move on. They prolonged it and they shortchanged him and they dicked him around. And then this happened. And then they got mad at him because he didn't want to play because he wasn't going to get paid if he got hurt, which is stupid on the Ravens' part because they were the ones who started this whole mess.
Right.
I think there's less than 5% chance that he ends up back with the Ravens this year. I think they're going to either he's going to hold out and then they'll trade him midway through this next season or they're going to trade him in the offseason.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because then at least they can't let him go. I mean, conceivably you could because he is a free agent, basically. They'll franchise him. They'll trade him to an NFC team so they don't have to see him, and that'll be it.
Speaking of the Ravens, real quick, before we get into the coaches, did you see this story about the Pro Bowl where Tyler Huntley is going to be in the Pro Bowl because nobody wants to play in the Pro Bowl, even though he only threw 2 touchdown passes in the regular season? He's in the Pro Bowl.
And David Carr, right?
All three starting AFC quarterbacks decided not to play.
Oh my
which I love
God.
that.
How
It's
much
flag
money is it to
football,
play in the
isn't it? It's flag football too.
play in the
Yeah.
Pro Bowl
It's
now?
like you're real stupid.
Well, here's the thing. So if you get named to the Pro Bowl or you get named as a Pro Bowler, a lot of these guys have that in their contracts. Like if you
Right.
get to the Pro Bowl, you make another whatever. But
Right.
there's nothing that says you have to play in that Pro Bowl.
Right. Just
So
named.
if I'm Joe Burrow, oh sweet, I got named to the Pro Bowl. I'm not playing. Now another guy though, like Derek Carr, he could be like, oh, I'll do it because now
Yeah, I'll
he
take
gets
the
that
money.
bonus on top
Yeah.
too. So like it's smart. You know,
gonna
I'm not against Tyler Huntley just saying, yeah, of course.
Right.
Like,
It's not his fault. It's
right.
not his fault. It's
Yeah,
just
collect
weird.
that paycheck, collect the
ba-
paycheck for playing in the game, and then
We couldn't get to anybody else. We go to Tyler Huntley. How many people said no to this game?
well, think about it. Like, who else are you going to put above? Like Mac Jones again?
I guess. I don't know.
in
At least
the
he played a full
AFC?
season.
I mean, put baby hands in there. He looked good
Yeah,
at the
right.
end of that
There you
season.
Why
go.
isn't baby hands?
Where's
in there? He
Mike
probably
fucking
is.
White when you need him?
Mike fucking White. You're a Pro Bowler. All right, let's talk about coaching. The coaching carousel.
Yeah.
I love this shit. Let's
Me
start with
too.
the Sean Payton saga.
Yeah.
Sean Payton signed with the Broncos. He is probably getting $20 million a year. But this story is so weird because one of the reporters said that the Broncos didn't want him. They wanted D'Amico Ryans, and they kept trying to go back to D'Amico Ryans to get him in. D'Amico Ryans ultimately signed a 6-year, which is weird, 6-year
Very
deal
weird.
with the Texans. Good for him, but
Yep.
that's a lot of years, okay, for an unproven head coach with
That's
a
a lot of
weird,
nuts.
real weird crap team. And then you got Adam Schefter saying, "Oh no, the Broncos always wanted Sean Payton. They didn't do that. That's not real."
Schefter's such a tool. He just whatever team feeds him any lines. He's like the
Right.
Dave Meltzer of professional football.
Whoever's talking to him, he's gonna say it.
Yep.
And I think it was Ian Rappaport who was on the other side. He's like, I mean, look, they were talking to D'Amico Ryan still. What do you want me to say? That's what was happening. Why do you think he got 6 years?
Yeah.
He had some kind of leverage there, and the Texans were trying to outbid the Broncos. I think the Broncos wanted him. They didn't want to pay that Sean Payton tax, but eventually they do.
Yep.
They have to
Interesting.
trade a number 1 pick
And a number 2, right?
and a number 2. They get a 3 back. They get Payton, and they got to pay him $20 million a year.
The compensation's not bad, and the money doesn't matter. There's the Walmart
Right.
people; they can afford
Right.
anything. I kind of thought he'd go for 2 first-rounders, so they actually kind of getting a third back is pretty good.
They have like absolutely no picks in this draft.
I know, yeah. They
because
don't
of
have any
Wilson
picks.
and this, they have nothing.
They have like third-round picks this year, and then I think a second next year.
There's no draft rebuilding happening with this team.
Nope, gonna be
And
tough.
there's no one to trade either. It's not like you could do anything to
Right.
trade
No.
up or get a pick or anything.
It's gonna be tough.
This
Good.
one,
Fuck Sean Payton.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
sorry.
even care.
I
Like,
want this guy to be terrible.
this
Yeah.
one makes just because of how bad Russell was.
Yeah,
And
I
this
want
team-
Walmart to be $60 million poorer.
This team like completely stinking up the joint and them hating each other. This is not going to go well, right?
Think of all the
Yeah.
people who are going to be on food stamps, so Sean Payton can go fucking 5 and 12.
I did it, Mom. Let me
Not
just
gonna
take this
go
baby
well.
food out of your cart. Hold on.
Yeah,
It's
here.
not gonna go
He
well.
could, he could walk into a Walmart and actively
Yeah.
steal from people, and
Right.
there'd be a more efficient use of his time.
Russell Wilson is not young.
No,
He's not getting any better, guys.
And he's not that
getting any-
good.
no,
He's not getting any better.
right.
Huh?
I think it's kind of like the Deshaun Watson thing where people are like, what happened to him this year? Maybe he sucks. Like that's an answer. Like he wasn't good the last time we saw him. Maybe this is just the Deshaun we're used to.
This is it.
And you were an idiot and paid a shit ton for him. Maybe Russell Wilson just sucks now. That happens. I mean, it's
Sean Payton wasn't doing the greatest job at the Saints. He wasn't doing the greatest job.
he won a Super Bowl. Give him credit, but like he
Yeah,
couldn't.
but that was early on in the
right,
run.
he was having trouble getting over that hump, getting past that
Yeah.
wild card round. So,
Had
Right.
a lot of talent on that Super Bowl team.
Yeah, the first
It's
one.
real easy
it was-
to be like,
it was
I
like
don't know, throw it to
09.
the tall guy.
That was in like
Right.
09. Not 2010, not
Yeah.
14, not 16. 09.
Yep.
He hasn't been that good recently. And this team is not good, and they don't like each other.
And there's no way to replenish it. Nothing. You can't.
Let's make it-
I
It's like a Lakers problem. Like everybody's like, "What's wrong with the Lakers?" Well, they traded every fucking pick that they have. They can't get any better.
Yep.
They can't even trade those picks for better players because they don't have them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're never gonna get better unless they get picks.
What is an expectation for a head coach? I know what the expectation is to win, but like, what sets Sean Payton aside from someone else? What says, okay, this guy's worth $2 million, this guy's worth $20 million?
I think because he won a Super Bowl, he's got the name value, so people are going to be excited, and he had Drew Brees as his quarterback, who's short, so he can fix anybody.
Yeah, Drew Brees and Russell Wilson, very similar players.
Not the same, guys.
Other than the height, it's about it.
They're not the same.
No, Drew Brees, good human. Russell Wilson, mannequin. So
nowadays, even like most coaches' decisions are just statistics.
Yep.
You know, it's like, do we go? You know, more players. I think more teams went for it on 4th down this year than ever before.
Right.
I don't know if that's actually the stat, but it's close. If it's not the most,
I think so. I think you're right.
You know, not the best comparison, but head coaching is going to eventually become like chess. Like the first 23 moves are just predetermined.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like, okay, well, where are we? Where are we in the field? What's the score?
What does the binder say? Like when the Yankees play
like,
baseball,
okay.
What does the binder say?
I mean, it's gonna eventually football's gonna turn into baseball as far as head coaches go. I don't think it can ever. I don't think you could ever get sabermetric stats out of a football game. Injuries are too prevalent. There's too many ebbs and flows.
Yeah,
there's
there's
not
too
the
many
same.
guys.
There's not enough games.
Yeah.
You know, part of why statistics work so well for baseball is just simply because of sample size.
Right.
It's also one-on-one, which makes it a lot easier. Like it's a pitcher versus a batter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And like, yes, there are fielders, but like in the NFL, you have to factor in 11 dudes who substitute out all the time. You can't.
Right.
You can't
but
do
for
that.
Coaches, I think a lot of it's going to become predetermined as far as game days go.
Yeah.
Probably. It's like, here's what we are supposed to do in this situation. Down 17 points, getting the ball with 8 minutes left. What do we do? This is what you do.
Yeah. Right. I mean, you might find the best coaches 5-10 years from now are just the guys who are the most personable and who can get the most out of your team, and not the best X's and O's guys, because it's, you know,
or someone who embraces those stats, like our fucking boy down in Miami.
Yeah.
There's no chance that dude isn't just looking at numbers all the time.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know he is. All right, D'Amico Ryan's also signed by the Texans. We said it's 6 years.
Yeah,
I like him.
I like him too.
I'm very worried about this. Not that his abilities are bad, but like he's coming into a team that basically stinks. He's gonna have a rookie quarterback. He's not an offensive coach. Who's his offensive coordinator going to be?
Yeah, I don't know.
This is going to be tricky. I
kind of like his situation because there's zero expectations on him. He's a first-time head coach. He's going to get 3 years.
They have to give him time. They need to give him time.
And the nice thing is, it kind of like a little bit of the Jeff Saturday thing there. He is a Texans legend.
He's a Texans guy.
Right. As much as you can call any Texans
and he's a
player
good
a legend.
Defensive coach.
He's a good defensive coach. Players like him.
Yep.
I actually think this out of all the hiring, well, no, there's another hiring I like better, but like
there's one more,
yeah. I think that he is in a excellent position to build this team. This team will not be good for a couple of years, but I don't think anyone's going to care.
Yeah.
So
can they have the patience to
I think
let
they can.
him?
I think they can.
Texans have some talent.
Yep.
Not a lot.
They got some pieces, but not a ton.
If you find like a quarterback and like a couple.
And their major problem is their defense absolutely stinks.
Yeah.
They were the worst against the run.
Their defense was
atrocious.
Hapless. It was unfathomable.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never seen so many people watch other people run by them.
Right.
Yes, right.
That Chiefs game is the one that always comes into my mind. Where they're like, hey.
And then 4 people look at each other like,
wait a minute.
Is that your guy?
Are we supposed to get that guy?
Yeah, right.
Wait, what is my role here, actually? I was flipping burgers last week.
Yeah, right. I knew I should have bunted.
All right, our final coach, but we have one more coached thing to talk about, is the ballad of the 2022
Carolina
Panthers. We have a new coach, Big Frank Reich. Frank Reich is
my
back.
boy.
Frank Reich is there.
Yes.
There's a lot to unpack here.
He's your first quarterback ever, right?
First quarterback ever, first
For
touchdown
Panthers
pass
history.
ever.
Yeah, right.
He only started 3 games and then was replaced, but it's he was there. He was there. I like Frank. I think he's a nice guy. I think he's a pretty good coach. They need an offensive coach. I don't love how they screwed over Steve Wilkes. I don't really love that. That feels unfortunate. But my guess is they were like, "Hey, what's your plan on offense?" And he said Ben McAdoo, and they were like, "Yeah, no, that ain't happening." Well, thanks. Win Pants has got to go. But he's definitely going to sue the team. That's for sure.
Oh, 100%.
He's going to sue, and he probably should win that lawsuit. And David Tepper still is very bad with the media and said, we need to break up the old boys club, which is like, yo, you are literally the old boy here, not hiring a coach.
The worst thing he did is when they brought up the fact about, the lack of diversity in hiring, Frank, when he had Silva, and he started listing off all the other black people in power in his organization.
Right.
That's not the way to do things. That's not like, hey, I have a black friend. Like that's
he listed them off, and then he said the white guys are the minority in the Panthers front office, and it's like, don't ever say that. What are you doing?
If he lays off and lets Frank run that team, I do think the Panthers get better within, a year. I mean, they were already, I guess, in playoff competition this year. Sure. I think he gets you there quickly. I love Frank. I think he's a great coach. I think he works fantastic with quarterbacks, no matter which one you have. I would assume that it's going to be a young quarterback, and I think that's best for him. Frank, I think, would rather have a young quarterback who he can work with.
I hope so.
Right. And I think you're in a good spot. I'm curious to see how the staff shakes out. Like, who is the defensive coordinator? I'm very interested to see.
I'm sure a bunch of the Colts guys are going to get replaced, and
probably,
and he'll pull those guys in, which scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
Defensively, especially. Like, you need to keep this defense on fire.
Yeah.
We'll see. I like Frank. I like the connection, but I also feel bad for Steve Wilkes. So we're going to see what happens. I think they needed an offensive coach. I figured that we're going to pick an offensive coach. They've never had an offensive coach ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Right.
They had Don Capers. They have John Fox. They had Ron Rivera. They have all these defensive guys. They've literally never had an offensive head coach. So we'll see what that means. What the hell are the Colts doing? What? What are you doing, Colts? They're interviewing 8 different people in a second round of interviews right now.
Yep. That mountain of cocaine is looking real good.
8 different people.
And it's like, the list is not exciting.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Obviously, Irsay is saying Saturday's the guy. And Chris Ballard's going, we got to get some more people here. What about this? What about him? What about him? What about anybody?
The longer this goes on, the more I think it might be Saturday.
It might be Saturday.
Insane.
I know.
But then why do it?
Right.
I think it's because they don't see eye to eye. I think Irsay is saying Saturday's the guy. Just do it.
Yeah, right.
And Ballard's like, no, here, try him, try this, try that. Anybody with experience.
But Irsay is the guy who pays the bills. He's the one who's going to make the call. So I think at the end, you might go through 3 rounds of interview, and it's just going to be Saturday.
I think that's what's going to happen. I wouldn't be shocked if we see Chris Ballard gone, like he quits. I wouldn't be surprised if we see he quits.
Bring back Bill Polian.
Oh, I love Bill. What are the Cardinals doing? What are they doing?
What's going on with Byron Leftwich?
He got fired.
He's fired.
He got fired?
Yeah.
Straight up fired. Yep.
Well, fucking hire him.
The Bucks are screwed right now.
Do you
realize how
screwed
the
the
Bucks are?
Hear that. Are you out of your fucking minds?
It's Leftwich's fault.
They didn't win
Brady
much.
sucks.
Yeah, they didn't win much, but statistically they were good.
Yep.
Every time I saw the Bucks, it looked like they were losing because they literally didn't feel like trying. And I mean, maybe you put some of that on your O coordinator, like you're supposed to fire up the boys, Byron. But like, he was the next coming of Jesus a year ago.
Yeah.
Now he's fired.
Yeah, he's fired.
He would be fucking awesome in Arizona.
Maybe that'd be nice.
They are going to
We'll
hire
see.
the least inspiring coach out of this
They-
entire group. I got this feeling.
They want one of the Bengals people. I heard they want either like their D coordinator, who everybody like is over the moon about for his schemes against Mahomes, which I guess I get. But if you're the Cardinals, why do you want that?
Right. Because that's what you want with Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
So-
right. You need an offensive coach who can harness him.
Right.
You know. So I don't know what either one of these teams are doing. What if they just hire fucking our guy back? What if they just bring him back? Like,
Bring
we
back
made a
Cliff.
mistake.
Here's another 5-year deal, Cliff,
know what?
on top of the one we're already
A
paying
little
you.
Taiwanese boy
10-year.
runs up to him on the beach.
10-year deal.
Mr. Cliff, Mr. Cliff.
All right, time for Sad Boy Boat. Who's going on the Sad Boy Boat?
I mean,
Apparently Byron Leftwich.
Byron Leftwich. Fine.
Put me on the boat because I'm
Yeah.
sad for him.
Oh, poor
I
Byron.
mean, Brady's got to go down with this ship, right?
Yeah,
I
he's
mean-
on. He's on. He's permanently going to be the name of the Sad Boy Boat now.
Yeah. Yes, it's
Gotta
Brady.
be Osai. Sorry, bud.
Oh,
Sai on
yeah.
the Sad Boy
Sorry,
Boat.
bud.
That's-
You don't get
that's,
to play next week.
That's 3. Who else is
Right.
going on the Sad Boy Boat?
Brock Purdy, probably.
Brock Purdy. I mean, he
Brock's
looks
elbow.
so sad.
He
Poor
did.
Brock and his
I guess he's
elbow.
going to be okay for next year. It's 6 months
Yeah.
recovery
Mm.
time on
I
average.
know, but like,
I know.
that's got to be a real blow to just your self-esteem.
Yeah.
Like he was on such a
didn't-
high.
he didn't do
having
anything
never
wrong.
Lost,
He just got
No.
hurt.
NFC Championship. No, maybe not self-esteem, but morale.
Mhm.
It's got to be like a real blow
Yeah.
to your morale.
Mhm.
It's like I
There's-
was there and I could have. They had a chance.
They did.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan said Garoppolo is 100% gone, which he said last year, but I think he's probably gone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no
So-
reason. He's a free agent anyway. It's not like you,
Yeah.
it's like you have any control over this. So-
They're still going to have questions with Trey Lance and Brock.
Yeah.
They'll maybe have a quarterback competition, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Time for broadcasting moments of the week. There's
You
one.
know what? I'm sorry. We're putting a fifth person.
Oh.
Oh,
We're putting
okay.
a fifth person on the sad boy
What's going
boat.
on there?
I'm putting Christian McCaffrey on there.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Christian.
You know, dude's stuck on your Panthers and
Stuck
he
on a
finally
crap
gets out
team.
and they fucking run it and they put him on his back and he works as hard as he can.
Mhm.
And then he's just out there and they're like, all right, Christian, why don't you try a pass?
Why don't you try
I
playing
mean,
quarterback?
that's just like the saddest story on the
Yeah.
planet.
Sad boy boat.
You know, Drew
Sad.
Bennett was QB3 on the Titans.
I heard.
Oh,
I also heard that he likes Fight Club in the Bible.
oh.
Man knows what he loves.
Oh, Drew Bennett. All right, broadcasting moments of the week. Romo.
He played quarterback for UCLA. Drew
Yes, he
Bennett did.
Did he?
Yeah.
I had no
Tune in
idea
next
what
week
college
for
he went to.
More on the Drew Bennett podcast.
Yeah. More Drew
More-
Bennett facts.
Can he be on here with us? You know him, right?
Probably.
Can he be on here? He's
I
not
know
doing
his
anything.
lawyer.
I know his lawyer. Get in touch
Yep.
with him.
Sure
All right.
do.
Broadcasting moment of the week. Tony Romo, usually praised on this show, was absolutely
Oh, yeah.
dreadful.
Oh,
What a piece of
real
shit.
bad. Yeah.
dreadful in this game.
I
Mournful.
don't even know what it was. It felt like he was just tired.
Yeah.
And maybe he was. But you know, he's
knows?
coming out with like classic. He's the wizard of wizarding. Like- What?
Oh boy, he's out trying. He's trying to out Collinsworth.
To be
No,
fair,
for legitimately, it was just awful.
Mahomes. Oh my God, Mahomes.
I feel like the last 3-4 weeks, when we see a lot of people, they're just tired. Like everybody's just tired of the season. They're like,
Yeah, we're
"All right,
done.
wrap
It's
this
too
shit up."
long.
All right, right.
It
We're
is
all
too
just-
long.
Everybody's hurt. Everybody's tired. Let's just get this over with.
Too
back
long.
to
I want to go
14
play
games.
golf.
Yeah,
That's what Romo
right.
said.
We'll go to-
Here was his worst moment though. This is why this is broadcasting moments of the week. His worst moment was when he compared quarterbacks and Mahomes and Burrow. He said this, which as an NBA fan, this hurt me. Like
Oh,
this is
yeah.
wrong.
Right, right.
He said Mahomes is Jordan and Burrow is Clyde Drexler. What the hell?
yeah.
What is
Way
this?
off.
What is this?
Yeah.
It's not like it was like Jordan and Shaq or like
Mhm.
Bird
No.
and Magic or LeBron,
Right.
and whoever, Kevin Durant. He said Drexler, comparing him to Jordan. Did you not watch any of the Jordan docs? This guy was just murdered by Jordan his whole
Yeah.
career. He was excited then when Jordan left so he could finally win one with the Houston Rockets.
That's funny.
What kind of comparison is that?
Burrow strikes me as a Barkley, by the way. I feel like they would get along well with each other.
I
They
mean,
both have a good sense of humor.
anybody else but Drexler. He got absolutely destroyed in that final.
This is very like knew a guy who knew a guy. Apparently, growing up, my parents knew the person who was in charge of weigh-ins for the Sixers when Barkley was there.
Mm-hmm.
Barkley was always notoriously overweight.
Yeah, sure.
And apparently every single week, Barkley would come in and try to bribe her.
That's great.
To shave like 15 pounds off.
That's so on par with him, though.
Love it.
Get out of here, Barkley.
Love it.
So funny.
It's amazing. All right, that's broadcasting moments. Time for Greg's bet.
Oh, Greg,
bet. Last week.
Last week. So I have, where'd my phone? Oh, I know, it's in my pocket. So I had the two that I made, which was Philly -2.5.
Nailed it.
That one came in.
That one killed.
And then I had KC +1.5. That also came in. And then during the games, I placed 3 more bets. During the actual game, I also won that the 6th Kansas City drive would end in a touchdown.
Okay,
that's a random bet.
That was pretty good money.
Yeah. No. I got $12.50 on my $5 bet.
What? That's lame. Should we win more?
I also, it was during the
sixth drive.
Oh,
like, okay. I thought at the beginning of the game you said
no. I mean, that would be insane. That would be like 1,001 bet. No, it was the Bengals had just scored a touchdown. The Kansas City got the ball back. I placed the bet at that point. I'm like, there's no way they're not coming back and scoring like a touchdown in response. So I got that one pretty good. This one was insane. So naturally I didn't get it. This would have paid out $200 on my $5 bet. It was total. This was the Bengals Chiefs game. Total points over 48.5. That didn't happen.
No.
Travis Kelce, 2 touchdowns. That didn't happen.
Nope.
Jamar Chase, 2 touchdowns. That didn't happen.
Ooh, just a stinker.
Yeah, that was a real bad one. But then this one did come in. This was Travis Kelce over 50 yards, Jamar Chase over 50 yards, Joe Burrow over 200 yards.
Yeah,
nice.
So I got that one also.
So you were very successful this week.
Yeah, about to say that's a hell of a great bet.
I went 4 for 5. And honestly, I never thought that other bet was going to come in, but it was 400 to 1 odds. And I was like, fuck it, I'll throw $5 on this, see what happens.
I like it.
There is a legitimate chance that Jamar Chase and Travis Kelce both score 2 touchdowns.
Right.
Sure.
Unlikely, sure, but a chance.
For $5.
Yeah,
for $5.
Why not?
Absolutely. Throw that down.
Why not? All right, we're going to get into future Greg bets next week when we do the Super Bowl predictions, breakdown, picks, all that stuff. Next week, we'll do more of that. Stay tuned for that. Football FUBAR time. Who's going into football FUBAR this week?
Well, we normally focus on, players who maybe didn't live up to expectations or coaches who kind of like fail spectacularly during the season and then somehow parlay that into a offensive coordinator job with the Jets. We didn't really talk about Nathaniel Hackett somehow weaseling his way back into the NFL.
What is going on there? What are you doing, Jets? You were finally starting to go somewhere. You were finally starting to make the right moves, and then you bring Hackett in. Can't Hackett
on Aaron Rodgers. All in on Aaron.
It's not going to work.
But you know what? We're going to take a different approach.
Okay.
We're not going to put an individual in. We're going to put an entity into this week's football FUBAR.
I like that.
So what we're going to do is we're going to be inducting the short-lived AFL 2, which was the Arena League's minor league. Okay. Ran from
the hell
2000 to 2009. So just a little quick insight here, by the way. Anybody who's listening, they should know that Ryan, if you listen to any of these episodes, you know that Ryan, Greg, and myself, we're also wrestling fans, right?
Sure.
Greg and I had a podcast where you talked about WCW, which was a competitor to the WWE in the late 80s, early 90s. And one of the things we talk about on that show is it's not, in a lot of ways, WCW had better talent, had better production values, had great storylines that superseded the WWF at the time. What brought that company down was piss poor management and overspending. I think those are the 2 biggest ones.
Sure.
Themes we will be revisiting with the AFL 2.
Oh
So
boy.
it was called Arena Football 2, all in lowercase. No caps. And at the time, this was 2000 or this is 2000. So Kurt Warner had just won his Super Bowl with the Rams. Played arena football for the Iowa
Right.
Barnstormers. It was growing in popularity. The AFL at this time had 16 teams. Fans were tuning in because of Kurt Warner. They had just got a national TV deal with TNN, which is, by the way, another wrestling. Any wrestling fan will know the TNN network back in the day.
Yep.
So things were looking up for him. So at this time, and this itself was sound. The AFL decided to let's have a minor league, but let's put it in small to mid market cities, right? Which has worked for everybody who's ever tried it. Like AHL teams, will put themselves in mid to small markets. Obviously, AA, AAA, single A baseball, they all do it because the fans there have no big team to support, so they support the minor league team. Great idea, right? Where it makes perfect sense. So they also wanted to grow the sport because a lot of these college players, there was no secondary market for them. They couldn't, if they didn't make it in the NFL, they didn't make it anyway. But the AFL was so different. Indoor football, 50-yard field, fast action, constant motion. This was the way to train those players to get them ready for the AFL. So that was the concept behind this.
Okay.
So the AFL, or the AF2, started off with 16 teams. Now you might be thinking, all right, 16 teams in the AFL, 16 teams in the AFL2, right? So they're each an affiliate, right? Every team's got a team that they can put guys down there.
Yeah, minor leagues.
Like a minor league team. No. That just happened to be a happy coincidence.
Okay.
These teams were not affiliated with anybody. They weren't like parented. They weren't even really told. There was they weren't said like, oh, you go here for your uniforms or you go here to get players. They just got the franchise and then they said, go nuts. There was no direction from the AFL on how to get players, how to develop players, how to keep anything consistent. So you would get games with guys wearing like non-colorful jerseys against teams with like all this graphics and shit on their jerseys and stuff and all these sponsorships because no one told them what to do. Right. So first year, it's not that bad. They actually kind of skirt a profit. So the second year, they go from 16 teams to 28 teams. And the reason for this here, but I found out, to own an AFL franchise, all you had to do was give the league $30,000, and you had to have an agreement with a stadium or an arena that held 5,000 people. That was it. $30,000 in cash. They didn't care how else you operated it. You just gave that to the AFL. And at this point, it should become obvious that the AFL is just pocketing $30K and then shooing these teams away without any sort of guidance or anything like that. So the next year, 2002, 38 teams were in the AFL too. 38 teams, including one in Albany, which I remember going to, the Albany Conquest, and it was a fuck ton of fun. But it was just wacky as shit. There was like a DJ there. It was weird.
The Conquest were
AFL 2.
Oh.
Yep.
And
wow.
And let's somebody. So that was the Albany Conquest. I'm going to give you some names. All right. I'm going to give you some AFL 2 names. I like, these are the ones I cherry picked that I like. The Richmond Speed, the New Haven Ninjas, the Charleston Swamp Foxes.
Oh yeah. Swamp Foxes.
Give me a Swamp Fox.
Yeah,
the Pensacola Barracudas, which I think of Legends of the Hidden Temple when I hear that. The Memphis Explorers, and I emphasize the X because there is no E at this. It is just X-Plorers.
Oh boy.
And my possible favorite, the Quad City Steamwheelers.
What the hell?
Really good.
Steamwheelers.
So the problem was at this point, it's just a money grab. The AFL needed liquid income, so they were just taking these things and they weren't helping out their minor league team. There was no way for a minor league player on the AFL2 to get to the AFL. Right. Even if they did well, there was not like you can go to a parent team. So everybody just kind of like lost there, and the AFL just taking on teams so they can kind of build a profit. By the end of this, though, after 2002, every single year, it was not uncommon for a team to start and then immediately fold the next year or immediately fold halfway through the season because there is no guidance. Yeah. So it started to fall apart. Every year after 2002, it got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller because nobody was making a profit. At the end, it ended in 2009. The players were being famously paid $50 per game.
Oh,
And one of the teams was being paid in food vouchers for the team owner's restaurant. He had a barbecue restaurant in town.
Wow.
And he was paying his players with barbecue vouchers for his food restaurant, for his barbecue restaurant. So now here's the crazy part. That folded. Arena football itself folded. The AFL folded about 2 years ago. And there's like minor league. There's other like indoor football things.
We
like
have a
Albany,
team.
We have a team,
again.
right? And they apparently won like the championship 3 years, national indoor football, right? But the AFL folded 3 years ago. I wrote this induction yesterday.
Oh,
1:30 today. Adam Schefter tweets the AFL's back. So I had to completely delete the last part of my thing. So I was going to talk about like the fall of the AFL and stuff like that. It's back next year, 16 teams, which I think is great because that's how it all started. 16 teams are coming back. But that also means, if you think about it, next year we're going to have, as long as they keep going, obviously the NFL, the USFL, which starts in April, the XFL starts in 3 weeks, and the AFL. We'll see. A lot of football going around
so
here.
much football.
So I hope you know what? The only thing I can think of, though, if the AFL is coming back, I think between the three of us, we can scrounge together $30,000. We can bring it. We can own a team, guys.
Yeah, the Glens Falls Gargoyles.
There you go.
Let's go.
Oh, I love that. Perfect.
Glens Falls Gargoyles. Here we come.
So AFL 2, welcome to Football Food Bar.
I know the guy around here who runs football teams. He tried to get an arena league together, and no one would insure him.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah. Or they would, but it was insane. It was like $1.5 million to insure it.
Oh, God.
There's a couple things I remember about the AFL. I can't remember if it was one or two. One of them was when they tried to reboot it and bring it back here, like one of the times. I don't remember if it was Conquest or the current group or whatever it was. There were 4 teams.
Yeah, that was
three of them were owned by John Bon Jovi. He was still trying, man. He was still out there trying. He owned 3 different teams.
That was like 3 or 4 years ago. My wife's company had like box seats at the Times Union Center, and we would go to those games because number one, it was free, and number two, nobody else was in the box.
Right.
So it was pretty fun, actually. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
And then I have to say, my other memory of AFL is my favorite player of all time in the AFL, Jared Lorenzen.
Oh, man.
The Pillsbury throw boy?
The Pillsbury throw boy. He was like a 9-time AFL champ or whatever. He was just incredible. He could throw the full length of the field. He was super overweight.
Oh, my God. Hefty
just
lefty.
Like, gut hanging out. I love that guy, man. I'm sad he's gone. He passed away, but
he died.
Man, that guy was
he's dead.
Gone.
Yeah.
Oh, from what?
I mean, being super big, man. I'm sure. But
that's awful.
Yeah, I'm sad about that. But he was like an AFL like legend. He dominated. He was on like the Louisiana
River Monsters
Lizards or something.
Yeah, they were the River Monsters. Yes.
River Monsters.
I remember that.
Which is the perfect team for him to play for.
Right.
I love that guy. But yeah, AFL.
I don't know if we did we mention Payton Hillis?
Oh no, yeah.
That was crazy.
He's
okay,
alive,
though, right?
He's
he's okay.
Yeah, he's alive. He's alive.
He saved
he
his kid.
He was in the ICU, but good for him. I mean, good. I'm glad he survived.
He was on the cover of Madden.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, but that was because it was a fucking joke.
Right. It was a fan vote. It was the only time they ever did a fan vote, and he got it.
He was on the cover of Madden.
Okay, I say joke. It was obviously people voted on that because that was the silly answer.
Yeah,
but he did run for 16 touchdowns and 1,300 yards.
Oh yeah, he was good.
Oh yeah,
a solid player, but
yeah,
that was very silly. But he was on the cover. So
did you hear about this thing too about people thinking DeMar Hamlin was an imposter?
Yeah, that's why I said that at the beginning.
Right,
but it's the same people who fucking replaced your masturbation bird, man.
Right.
So people don't count. They're not real people.
They're no birds.
I'm just saying, like, what a weird story. And then, actually, so I tied this into real life. My father, he's retired, but he was an EMT. Well, one of his jobs, he was an EMT, and he's still licensed to teach CPR. And I was talking to him a couple days ago, and he said up until that happened, he had like 4 CPR classes between December and April, right? And I talked to him, like 2 weeks ago, and he was saying it's gone up to like 18. Which I think that's a great sign. We talked about it during the thing. If you're going to find a positive out of this, the fact that more people are learning CPR, I think is about as good as you can get. Because I also saw that he was, I guess he's now the
Yeah.
spokesperson for
Yeah, DeMar was
American
talking about
Heart.
it.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
doing
right.
he's doing like a challenge or something
Cool.
like that too, which is great.
Yep. Very cool.
But yeah, he was cloned. That's what people are saying.
I heard it was like
Dawson Knox actually was like, I guess he's not cloned. Like he has to put out put out a video.
He had to put out a video.
It's
You
ridiculous.
fucking chodes. Like seriously.
So stupid.
Like
so stupid, guys. Come on.
I hate
Sometimes it's just so
right. Give me Cole Beasley and like the moon is hollow and like that's funny shit. I'm okay with that. But
the moon is hollow.
Yeah, he's just spouting facts.
Right.
I mean, the moon is hollow.
He's just spitting moon facts at you.
The Earth is not only flat but also hollow.
Right.
Oh my god.
Cole's got a lot of he's gonna retire again. He's gonna have a lot of free time again.
Yeah, he can maybe put him to work on like debunking some of this stuff. Put him to work.
I want him to do like hunt Sasquatch.
Spend your money on something
reasonable. Be productive, will you? Go on be on a Verizon commercial.
If there's a reality TV show where you're watching, not even like we'll say hunting aliens. He's hunting aliens.
Yeah,
would you watch Cole Beasley hunting aliens? I'd watch that.
Well, because he's kind of a jerk, probably not. But if he didn't ever say those things, yes, I would. I would watch Cole Beasley.
Right. I don't want fun things for him. I want him to get like torn in half by a Sasquatch.
Throwing slurs at aliens left and right.
He gets actually abducted.
Yeah.
They get mad about
take me to the moon.
The moon being
I need
hollow.
to prove that it's flat. It's hollow.
Sure. Come on up. All right. Game balls. Got a game ball for us, Greg? Got a game ball?
Game ball. Do I have a game ball? No.
Okay.
No. These games stink, man.
The refs? The refs.
Yeah, right. They deserve it.
All right. No game ball for Greg. What about you, Mark?
Probably it's gonna go like a co-game ball to Mahomes and Brock Purdy for playing hurt. That's not easy to do.
Sure.
Yes. Like I said, I got nothing else for this
tough one. All right, I got one. I think it's a good one though. I'm giving it to game ball to BJ Hill of the Bengals, who was in the locker room.
Oh yeah.
Basically refereeing all questions that went to Osai when the reporters were in his face. And he's like, yeah, no, bad question. Like he is standing like, don't ask that. Ask a better question. Several times he was like, no, don't do that. Don't ask that question. And the report, you can hear the reporter be like, what? It's a valid question. He's like, ask a better question. Stop. Shout out
like
to him.
The
protecting his
like
guy.
The reporters ripping on Eli Apple, who was talking way too much shit for a guy named Eli Apple. So they
talked a lot of shit.
Yeah, and then got toasted the entire game.
Yeah, toasted, and they had a terrible penalty at the end, which may have not been a penalty, but he still drew one. Yeah, that guy would not shut the fuck up.
Nope.
And then he had to like apologize and like half apologize. It was weird.
Also talked about like Mahomes' girlfriend or wife now. Like, why? Like, you can definitely lay off that. You're not, it didn't make any sense to me.
You're not
really.
You're not Jalen. You're not as good as Jalen Ramsey, who does that all the time, and people hate it. Like, stop. You're Eli Apple. You've been cut for like 4 teams. Like, you're not actually good. Mm-hmm. You're not that good. So calm down. I've seen that going around though, like the Mahomes wife thing. People love crapping on Mahomes' wife. I don't know why. Just weird.
His brother. His wife's annoying.
His brother too.
His brother's fine.
But... They love crapping on those guys. I feel bad. All right, time for plugs. You can go check out our TJF Stuck episode if you want more of this. More of this back and forth. We had a great time doing that one.
We sure did.
2 weeks in. Go get it. And we're getting ready to do our karate episode coming up in a couple weeks.
Get hyped for that.
That is exciting.
So I can't wait to talk to you guys about my karate exploits too when I was a kid. So.
Oh yeah. Yes. We all did karate, right? Do you do karate, Greg? I can't remember.
I took like a 6-week class at the Y when I was 10.
Yeah. Right, were you a black belt afterwards?
Yeah. Obviously.
Of course.
You have to pay for that.
Register my fist as lethal weapon.
It's like extortion.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like karate was a big thing when we were kids, right?
Sure was.
Everything was karate. Everything.
Yes, it was.
Ninjas, karate.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be fun. All right, you can check that out next week. We're gonna do Super Bowl predictions, bets, maybe a few awards for the year, like who we're giving Coach of the Year to, that kind of stuff.
We all know the answer to that.
Nathaniel Hackett.
Honestly, yeah.
Nathaniel
no, his coach.
His life
Coach's
coach, yeah.
coach.
His life
Who's
coach.
substantially, he still did not have as many wins. He still had like, I don't think he won either of those 2 games, but the team looked way better with life
Exceptionally
coach
better.
there. Yeah.
Life coach. He had
Oh my
something
God.
going there.
What if the Jets don't get Aaron Rodgers? Like,
It's gonna be bad.
Jesus.
I think Derek Carr's going to the Jets.
Oh God.
Is it weird that he has to play in the Pro Bowl as a Raider, even though he hates
Yeah.
the Raiders and wants to leave? That's gonna
I
be
thought he's going to
weird.
be like the Olympics where we ban Russia, so he's just going to
Yeah.
like, play under no flag.
Oh God. All right, that's it. We're out of here. We're done. Peace out. We'll see you next week. Getting ready for the Super Bowl.
See ya.